And I'm going to go live. I will tell you when we are live.
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
It's gonna be fine. It takes a minute to go live. Turn off your mics, please, and, until it's time for you to talk. All right, and we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to day one of the Life Skills Week, presented by Unidos Now, Future Leaders Academy Barancik Scholars. My name is Cynthia Ellenstar. I'm the program director at Unidos Now, and I'm very excited to inaugurate this online event for the entire family. Starting today and until Friday, our scholars will be delivering presentations on 10 different life skills. During their summer break, they have been doing their own research on life skills, and now they would like to share their findings and suggestions with all of you. Now, what are life skills? They are abilities and behaviors that help you deal effectively with events and challenges of everyday life. They are the skills that allow you to handle everything from interacting with others to identifying and processing your emotions. A few housekeeping rules before we get started. You're welcome to ask questions. Please use the chat box to type your questions there. If you need Spanish interpretation, click More on the lower right or upper right hand corner of your screen. Then click Language Interpretation, then click Spanish, and mute original audio. Para acceder a la interpretación en español, haga clic en Más, en la esquina inferior derecha o superior derecha de su pantalla. Luego haga clic en Interpretación de idiomas. Luego haga clic en Español y en Silenciar audio original. Without further ado, please meet the Future Leaders Academy Barancik Scholars. Miranda, we cannot hear you.
I apologize. Good evening. My name is Miranda Clapp. On behalf of Group 1, we are time management. Time management is about the process of planning and exercising conscious control of the time spent on specific activities to increase your effectiveness and efficiency and productivity on things. So this quote by Peter Drucker is, "Until we can manage our time, we can manage everything else," which basically means it's about you. All your experiences are enhanced with time management, because if you don't do well with it, then you won't have the ability. It's all about you, about helping your function and reduce stress so that you have time for others and for opportunities. So what is it? It's about controlling your stress. It is about being able to be productive, and it's a exercise for your frontal lobe, which has to do with your problem solving, memory, and judgments. It also connects synapses in your brain, which, as you practice time management, actually makes you smarter.
Hello, I'm Oscar, and here we have why is time management important? And it allows you to accomplish more in a shorter period of time, which leads to more free time, which leads you to take advantage of learning opportunities, lowers your stress, and helps you focus, which leads to more career success. Each benefit of time management improves another aspect of your life. Yep.
Hello, I'm Dahlia, and in college, you will most likely need these skills to help you get through mostly anything. So the skills are professionalism, juggling, procrastination, and more efficiency. Professionalism is a skill expected of a professional, one who has everything under control, organized, and put in place. In college, it obviously isn't going to be easy with a lot going on while you settle in, but you're going to have to be open to any changes you might get that day that may be helpful to you in the future. You're also going to need to balance or learn to juggle everything you have going on in your life out by managing your time carefully and effectively. Productive procrastination can often be described as a problem that can cause stress, frustration, and sometimes lead to getting bad grades, but can also be caused by getting bad grades. I would use the word productive procrastination when I can't seem to focus on one assignment. So what I would do is put it aside and instead work on something easier or on something that interests me more. Later on, I would go back to the assignment I had difficulty with and finish it. Having more efficiency means performing in the best way possible with the least waste of time and effort. With this, it also means having using necessary knowledge, skill, and industry. Time management helps us with prioritizing our work in a lot of useful ways.
Alan, I believe that's you.
Oh, my bad. I'm Alan, by the way. So we have some tips available for you guys. So one really good tip you can do is by making a master schedule. This can just be like the next slide here says using an agenda. An agenda is like really important that you can just write down like everything you have like that's going on. Make sure like you have everything written out so you know what you need. Using this agenda, you can also just set goals so you can just start early as well, as it says there. It's better to have these goals because you can make sure like what you want to do. You can like say, I want to have this done by that day, and then write that down in your agenda. You can start doing it early. And this ultimately just like stops distractions. You make sure you get everything done a lot faster. It just helps out with your entire process. And that's what a master schedule could look like. It just it depends what you want to do. There's so many different like different like schedules available that you can do so many different things. It's really good for you to use one if you have like really hard time like making sure like things are on track and on time.
Some other tips, I apologize for my dog. Some other tips would be making a project plan. And in this plan, you can use a master schedule. Some people like to work at one thing at a time. They might only have one tab open on the computer and all supplemental things with it. Some people can have, like me, I have multiple projects open. I have all things all over the place, but it works for me how I manage my time because I go between different projects. In time management, you also really have to know yourself. This ties in with managing your circadian rhythms, which means knowing your sleep-wake schedule, what time of the day you work best. So if you wake up in the morning, you're really energized, like I know our hostess Cynthia here wakes up very early in the morning, and that's the best time of day that works for you. So work then. Everyone has their own kind of schedule for these things. If you work best at the end of the day, you find other like-minded people that you can work with then as well.
Hello, my name is Brindy, and I'm going to do the practice slide. For actions and knowledge, at first you have to acknowledge what you're trying to achieve, and then figure out how you're going to achieve that plan by taking actions towards it, because sometimes we tend to procrastinate and not take actions towards what we want to achieve. And for consistency, we had to keep on practicing to get better at what we want to achieve. And then for all about you, you had to determine your it's up to you to determine your destiny and fate. So it's up to you whether you want to achieve your goals by taking actions towards them.
If I may add, for the last bullet here, mindset, time management, it may seem kind of daunting to think about, oh, I have to put everything in a schedule, all this, but think positively about it. If you say, I'm going to make this change, I'm going to make the work, all this, it's going to be for me. I'm going to do the best I can at this. I have a mantra, I'm going to do great. It makes it so much better. You feel more confident.
And for mindset, it says, to achieve your goals, you need to have a positive mindset, because if you go into it with having a negative mindset, you won't be able to know what you want to achieve. And if you have a good mindset, you give yourself hope, and then you get better if you keep practicing at it and having a good mindset on it.
All right, here we have my method. And what I like to do is be flexible and plan extra time for like anything that may pop up, like anything extra. So like, for example, like in a school day, I wake up at 6. I get ready and stuff, eat some breakfast, and my bus passes at 6:30. And then regular school schedule 7:30 to 2:30. I get home around 2:50, around 3, and I like to do homework, get it out the way as soon as I get home, so I won't have to worry about it later. And after I just eat, all that, and then from 6 to 8, I just have my free time. Sometimes, if anything that pops up, I use that free time instead of like messing up my schedule, which could be bad sometimes if you don't know how to control it.
So earlier we talked about productive procrastination. I personally like to turn it on its head. And when I feel like I'm procrastinating on an assignment that I really need to do, I say, you know what, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I'm gonna do a different assignment that needs to be done anyway. So I'm still doing work, I'm still being productive. Another thing that I tend to do is a lot of alarms. I make great use of the calendar on my phone, and I'll set certain alarms during the day. Here we'll do a 15-minute nap. Here we'll take an hour to do this assignment, then we'll work on this one. I also, in this calendar, I like to plan my week and budget how much time is needed for each assignment. And each day I have a goal that needs to be completed. So, if there's a really big, long project, do at least, a quarter of it. Get all the people together for it, stuff like that. I also like to have hobbies, because you need a budget for your breaks or else you're going to go crazy. So personally, I love to bake. I like to go to the gym. I like to do dance around the house if I really have to. I love to be active, and sometimes you have to step away. There's actually a psychology term called incubation, which is when, an example of it would be when you're really trying to figure out like a math problem or anything, and you can't think of the answer, and you end up, a week later, you're walking around doing something, you're like, oh my gosh, I know what it was. That's incubation. You weren't actively thinking on it, but in the back of your head, it was like on a back burner. And eventually you come up with the answer for these things. And sometimes you need to step away from a difficult project and you'll get the answer.
So my methods mostly have to do with like being in the correct mindset. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like the best guy to keep on time. So what I like to do is I like to like be aware, like, okay, I have to finish it by this date no matter what. And then I just like to think like, okay, I need to do this. Like, if I don't do this, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. So if I don't do this, I'm gonna be screwed. So I just like to think, okay, no matter what, I'm gonna finish it. I'm always gonna finish it, and I just think that helps me the best, because I just like know, like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm gonna do it. I may wait till the last day, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm just gonna think about how good this is gonna turn out, how good this is gonna help me in my future. And for me, I just think that's all I really need to succeed when it comes to time methods.
For my methods, I would usually start on my hardest and most time-consuming assignments first, so I can have enough time to think about how to figure out how to do it or get help if I need help. And then I would work on the assignments that I could do really fast or understood just fine. And to work on those assignments, I would keep track with them with the planner and work on them little by little so I don't get stressed out by doing too much. And if I wanted a break, like a full day break, I would do twice the amount of work so I can take a break and not stress about being behind on my homework. And for when I was doing online school, I would divide my classes up and focus on certain classes on certain days. For like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I would focus on reading, math, my primary classes. And then for Tuesday and Friday, I would focus on my electives, and then for pros and cons, the pro is you could be more organized and you be on schedule, so you won't be stressed because you would have done your work early. And for the cons, it can be way too much doing twice the amount of work. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are my methods I use and encourage you to use to help you manage your time. The methods are long and short-term goals, SMART goals, scheduling, planning, and the outcomes of time management. So we need long and short-term goals to help us set our own goals and objectives, deadlines, prioritize our activities and their importance, and spend the right time on the right activity. It is always a good idea to have your long and short-term goals in mind. The importance of having SMART goals. The word SMART and SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, or realistic, and timely. SMART goals can help us figure out and write down our goals as best described as possible. It is important to have a schedule or a plan to follow. Most of us who have a schedule or plan have the benefit of achieving more than one who doesn't have an effective one. When it is done correctly, it can help us really understand what we need to realistically achieve with our time. Another point is to make sure we have enough time for essential tasks, such as reading, writing, thinking, working with others, communication, and etc. Some outcomes of time management are that it helps us save our time, it helps reduce stress, helps us function effectively, increases our work output, helps us have more control over job responsibilities, helps with multitasking, and helps us follow a schedule that can adapt to changes.
So we actually have a poll for our participants to take. So let me know when you have this up so I can activate the questions.
Let's give the audience a minute, okay, so that we can all, I'm going to participate too.
Good. When everyone is ready, please let me know so I can activate the questions.
I think we can go ahead and
All
get the
right. Should be seeing the first question now. And if another member of my team would like to share the answers that we are getting from people.
Miranda, what is the question?
What's the question? Oh, I'm sorry, that was.
There you go. Thank you.
Next question is, what is time management? Oh, looks like everyone got that right. The process of planning, exercise, time control on activities. Why do you think time management is important? Makes life easier, to be more productive and efficient, organization, set and achieve goals, to get the most out of your time. It lets you reach your goals, helps us achieve our goals. The next one is, having good time management is a great skill that shows professionalism. True or false? We have true. Looks like everyone got that one. Next one is, what are some tips for time management? You have keep an agenda. Good. Make a master plan. Write down in your agenda. Good. Plan ahead. Use a master schedule. Smart goals. Google Calendar. You guys are rocking this. All right, next. And it's all about practice. True or false? Looks like our main percentage is on true, which is correct. And our last one, what word comes to mind when you hear time management? There are no wrong answers here. Productivity, timer, organization, agenda, happier life, those work together, responsible, stress. These are great. And that is the end. If there are any questions, I would like to thank the Barancik Foundation and Unidas Now for their support in making this possible tonight.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Miranda. If anybody has questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. Otherwise, we're going to be moving on with the next group. And looks, there are no questions, but there are many clapping hands and congratulations. Thank you very much. And now I would like to introduce you to our group 2 that will be talking about money management.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day. I want to thank you all for being here and participating in this event. It really means a lot to us that you are all here. Today, our group will be giving a presentation on money management and the idea behind why it's an essential part of our everyday life. Before we begin, I want to thank Unidos Now for giving us the opportunity to share this with you all, and also the Barancik Foundation for making this all possible. We are very grateful for granting us this opportunity and look forward to sharing more information like this to the community. Tonight's presentation was created by Estefana Bujanos.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Dulce America Rios Cardona.
Hello all, my name is Ariane Padilla Chavez.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Paredes.
And hello, my name is Sofia Cava.
All right, next slide. Okay, so as I said before, our presentation is on money management and the idea behind why it's an essential part of our everyday life. We have divided up a presentation into 5 key concepts. What is it? What are some examples? Why is it important? What is the goal? And how do I do it? Next slide. First, we're going to speak on what money management really is. Many people refer to money management as simply saving up money. And although that sounds pretty easy, there is so much more than simply putting money into a piggy bank. There are actually many factors that go to work when someone is able to manage their money effectively. In fact, some of the most successful people in life who have financially prospered first started off as regular people like you and I who manage their money effectively. So what does money management include? Money management can be a variety of circumstances that include investing, budgeting, evaluating taxes, saving, and spending, all while still having an adequate amount of money left. It refers to how you will handle your money within a short and long-term period of time. Money management is not only about limiting your purchases, but developing a plan that allows you to say yes to certain things that are important to you. Something I would recommend is creating a list with the things you want versus the things you need. This is very important when it comes to spending your money. This list will not only allow you to see your needs and wants, but it will also allow you to choose where your money will be spent. Remember that a need is something you can't live without, such as food, water, clothing, or a place to live. And the want, on the other hand, is something most of us would like to have, such as a video game, electronics, or junk food. Next slide. Okay, so managing your money is a way to map out how your money will be spent and how it is currently being spent. It involves saving enough money in case of emergencies or other circumstances. Managing your money will allow you to visualize how and where your money is being spent. But most importantly, money management involves getting the most out of your money through careful planning, spending, and saving. Next slide. Now I'll give my part to Dulce, who will present examples of money management.
Okay, some examples of money management are have a bank account. You can have savings or just a normal account where you can withdraw money, but you're like managing it. So you can calculate how much money you will have so there won't be any issues with financial circumstances. So another example would be buy used books. For school-related purposes, you can buy used books, which are way much cheaper. You can get them on Amazon, on eBay. and they're really cheap. You can also sell your old books that are no longer needed. So get those dusty books off your shelf and and yeah, eat at home. Yes, eat it at home saves you money because you do not have to order takeout or go to a fast food restaurant or some fancy restaurant that costs so much money, where you can either just, stay at home, eat home cooked meals. And even though spending money is a big part on food, so a lot of things that happens is that even though groceries are your biggest expense, food spending can quickly creep up on you without you noticing it. So if you're not careful, that can take over your finances. Some examples would be that you're spending too much is you don't have a grocery list, you throw coupons in the garbage. You can find the coupons on your receipts, or the cashier can just give them out to you. You buy food to make yourself feel better. I think there's a lot of people out there that, buy some food to make you feel happy. You got to be careful with that. If you have a job, you don't pack a lunch, and I think that's important that you pack a lunch because I guess it saves you money. And another thing would be you shop while you're hungry. That's another thing too. So creating a budget, manage how you will spend your money. For example, how much money are you willing to spend on clothes, food, gas, but still have money at the end where you can use that extra cash for something important. Get a job, earn that extra cash on something necessary. You don't have to be a full-time worker. You can do a part-time job, and you should make the payments that you need while you have your job. Also save $1 a day. Even the pennies and quarters and dimes, save them in a sealed container where you don't touch them. You won't be able to retrieve them, but still keep putting money in. So just before an emergency or something, you have your backup. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Dulce. There were some great examples of money management. So now it's my turn again to talk about the importance of money management. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so managing your money is important because it affects every aspect of your life as well as every stage of your life. As a young person, you may want to use your money towards a new video game or the latest clothing trend, but something you have to keep in mind is whether or not these items will benefit you in the future. When you begin to save up your money, you have to decide whether or not you will spend your money. As I said earlier, creating a need versus a want list will help you visualize how your money should be spent. Being able to manage your money at an early stage will help you in the long run. As we all know, everything in life has a price, and achieving our dreams can be one of the most expensive parts of it. Buying a home or going to college are long-term life goals you wouldn't want to miss out on just because you weren't able to manage your money when you could. Starting to save up now will pay off in the future when you decide to attend college, build a home, or even retire. Next slide. Okay, Ariane, would you like to describe the goals of money management?
Yes, I would. Next slide. All right, the goals for money management is that you don't want to lose all your money, because last thing you want to do with your money is lose it all, because the truth is everything costs money, and you want to be able to manage it and increase the awareness of your money. Spend it more wisely as well. Think of what you need and what you don't need, and you need to managing money also helps with achieving your future goals you have, like paying off your mortgage, going to college, buying things that you wanted for loved ones or for yourself, or planning up for that trip you want, and many more. Next slide, please. If the first goal for managing money is current needs. What do you need in order to survive? Like, for example, but not limited to food, water, shelter, clothing, electricity, housing, all that. You need basics to survive. Other things that you don't need in order to survive, like video games, that expensive TV, or that really fancy watch that costs around 10K. No, it's important to get your basic needs in order to survive, so you can make more money. Next slide. And also, for the second thing of money management, you want to save some money on the side just in case something happens, like you broke your ankle, or you had an unexpected heart attack, or a flood damaged your home, or any other situation like that, because life is full of unpredictable things, and you always want to have enough money just in case the unexpected happens. Next slide. And also, the third and final thing of money management is set some long-term goals, or at least one. When you're set some in your life, what is that one long goal that you always wanted? It may be like buying your house, or saving up for a trip with the family, or anything that you always wanted. Because, like I said previous, everything costs money, and it's important to see of your long-term goals. Alrighty, next.
Thank you, Ariane. That was awesome. Now it's Nicholas' turn to explain how to use money management.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to be talking about how some methods where you can manage your money better. So next slide, please. Okay, so here's some methods of tracking your income, expenses, and investments. One way is to use a notebook or an online management app on your phone or computer to determine what are your best financial decisions. And also, you have to regularly compare your weekly or monthly income with your personal expenses like groceries, rent, and anything else you use in your daily life. So it's important to make sure that your income is not only enough to cover those expenses, but also to have money left over for other things as well. Next slide, please. And so a free money management app I found was called Pocket Guard, and it uses information from your bank accounts. You have to manually link your bank accounts to this app, so it tracks your budgeting and expenses. It tracks how much money goes in and how much money goes out, and it generates infographics like charts, pie graphs as well, that document your spending habits over a certain period of time. And this app also allows you to create what's called goal accounts, in which you can decide what they'll be used for. For example, you can save them for a vacation fund or for an emergency fund, and a portion of that money, of your money, is regularly deposited into it for you through the app. And I think it was just a really neat application that is very convenient to use, and it's also very helpful in showing how you use your money on a regular basis. Next slide, please. And so something else that you want to do when you're managing your money is to avoid debt. So something to do is to keep track of upcoming payments using something like a digital calendar, such as Google Calendar, that also sends frequent reminders to you so that you make sure that you know when the deadline will be. And also, you have to stay aware of regularly scheduled payments. For example, rent is due at the end of the month. It's important to make sure not to forget that, even if you think, oh, I'll remember it. It's always at the end of the month, but sometimes you might forget, or you might think it's lower than what you thought it would be. So it's important to keep track of that as well. And also avoid spending money on risky investments. For example, spending a large portion of your income on investments in the stock market. Next slide, please. And something else that you have to do is to regularly check how much money you have for your emergency fund. So it's important to stay financially secure for circumstances such as medical emergencies. And so you have to make sure to, when you make an account for an emergency fund, make sure you only take out money when it's absolutely necessary. You want to avoid the habit of taking money out from the fund by creating a separate account. For example, if you create an account for emergency funds and you feel like you might be tempted to take out money, you could just create a separate account. Next slide, please. And something else that you want to do is to avoid habits that lead to overspending. So there are two types of overspending that people often use. One is spending an unnecessary amount of money on a product, and the second type is purchasing unnecessary products. And so for the first type of overspending, which is spending unnecessary amounts, if you frequently spend a lot of money on a product like a clothing brand that you consistently buy products from, but they always cost a lot of money, it's important to look for less expensive alternatives. And also for the second type of overspending, which is purchasing unnecessary products, what you could do is for one day, for example, a day when you're out shopping, make a list of every time you spend money and what you spent the money on. And then at the end of the day, you can review the list to look for unnecessary purchases that you may not have realized were unnecessary in the moment, but you only realize that after reflecting on it. So be conscious of your spending habits. And for school supplies, such as textbooks, it was mentioned before, you don't need to necessarily purchase new textbooks. You can find students who are selling or donating those books and use those as well.
Thank you, Nicholas. Those were some great pointers for all of those who would like to start managing their money effectively. Now we have Sophia, who will speak on money management and students.
Hello guys, so I'm going to be speaking, like my colleague said, about money management and students. So some of you guys might be thinking, why do we need money management when our parents pay for most of the things we need? Well, I think there are 4 main reasons that apply to us. The first one is that we should be saving for college. We all know college is very expensive and we all are expected to be independent. So saving our money now for college can be very helpful in the future. It might prevent us from needing a job or stopping to do some of the things we really enjoy. We just have to think about the future. It's very important. The second thing is we also need our money management to save for future or current loans. This can be as extreme as paying college loans off or as little as paying our parents back for borrowed money. Either way, by managing our money, we can prevent ourselves now and in the future from being in debt. Third thing is when I think it really gets hard. We all love to spend our money on new clothes and shoes, but we really don't need it. This is one of the greatest ways we lose our money. Just think about how much money you could save simply not from buying extra things. A good trick might be to think about something you want and wait a couple months or maybe 1 month. And if you feel like you really, really need it, then it might be a good thing to buy. This could save us a lot of money. Our fourth thing is also very hard because who can resist going to Chick-fil-A or Dunkin' Donuts? But realistically, buying food instead of eating at home takes a lot of money out of our bank accounts. Even when it's little things, if we do it often enough, it adds up and it's eventually going to affect us. A good strategy to limit our spending on food might be to set a limit on ourselves on how often we eat out in a week. So now we have a very informative video that we found with some additional information and tips about money management.
There's a misconception that to be good with money, you need a lot of it. Not true. What you need to be good with money is everyday management. Whether you're planning for yourself or for your whole family, there are 3 basic steps you can take to make the most of your money. 1, create a budget. 2, set savings goals. And 3, tackle your debts. When put into practice, these steps can have a big impact, not only on your monthly budget, but on your overall financial future. One of the first steps to better money management is to create a budget and stick to it. This might sound simple, but you'd be surprised how few people actually do it. You can think of your budget as your guide to reaching your financial and personal goals. If you have trouble covering all your expenses each month, a budget can help you avoid overspending. That's because your budget can help you see and understand exactly where your money is going and whether or not your spending is in line with your personal goals. The next step is to set savings goals. With your budget in place, building your savings will be that much easier because you'll know how much extra money you have each month to allot to your goals. One of the best savings goals to start with is an emergency fund. Building up an emergency fund to help cover unexpected expenses like a sudden medical bill, major home or car repair, or even a job loss can help you avoid going into debt when life throws you a curveball, which it will. Instead of borrowing money to cover these emergencies, you'll already have the money saved up, and this could end up saving you a lot more money in the long run. Start by building up 3 months' worth of expenses as a goal. Once you've established an emergency fund and are living within your budget, you can then figure out some long-term savings goals. Whether you decide to plan for your retirement, or save for a home improvement, college, or even a well-deserved vacation, you'll be better able to set aside some money and have a timeline for reaching your goals. The third step is to tackle any debts you have. First, as you're working to pay them down, you'll probably want to stop adding to the debts you already have. The less debt you have, the easier it'll be to get out from under it. It could also be helpful to know what your debt is costing you each month. Once you know how much your debt costs, you can create a plan that helps you reduce it and eventually pay it off. The sooner you get started, the more money you can save. It's worth noting that managing your debt and your savings go hand in hand. For instance, if you have a debt with a very high interest rate, it may make sense to focus on paying it down at the same time, or even before you build your entire emergency fund. As you make a plan to tackle your debt, setting target goals can help you stay on track as you actually see and feel the progress you're making. These 3 steps are the basic components of money management, and it's easy to see how they can work together. By keeping a budget, you'll know what you have available to accomplish your savings goals and tackle your debts. Having an emergency fund can help you avoid adding any new debt. And occasionally checking in, reviewing your budget from time to time, can help you set long-term savings goals, like a down payment on a home, as your priorities and circumstances change. Now that you have an understanding of the basics, why not take the next step? Being smarter with your money, learning new tips and techniques, can help you today and down the road.
All right. We would once again like to thank Unidos Now and the Barancik Foundation for making the Future Leaders Academy possible, and we would like to thank all of you for listening today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sophia. What a great presentation also. Wow. So today has been a lot of great information to make our lives better. And I want to thank all of you, all the attendees, for joining us this evening. We hope that you had a good time learning how to manage your time and money more efficiently. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for presentations on self-care and stress management. Hope you'll have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.